moving on. Let's get to our number 11 seed. Who's on your number 11th power rankings?
We have the Portland Trailblazers. They brought back Rodney Hood, brought back Melo. They made a big trade for Robert Covington, who they gave up 2 firsts, but I feel like Portland's situation, Dame's aging, CJ's getting older. Why not make a move right now to try to win? I mean, like, what's their ceiling again? But at the same time, it's a good move. Covington's a good player. I feel like he fits them pretty decently. I'm excited to see how that works out.
I thought they had probably one of the best off seasons of any team this year. Again, Rodney Hood, he's coming off a major injury, but I think he has the potential this year to be back to where he was last year before the injury. Carmelo, again, preseason, but he's already looking really good. Like, he looks young again. He looks like he's brought back to life. Maybe it's the braids, man. They got the cornrows back. So maybe it's that. Robert Covington, that's a really good small forward to have there. One signing I really liked, and I don't know why you didn't mention this because you're probably just an idiot, but Derrick Jones Jr. Yeah, and you also didn't mention Harry Giles. What the hell, man?
We talked about Harry Giles. Don't even start that. We talked about Harry Giles. You show it on the Dim podcast on YouTube. Show it.
We're not showing that. Harry Giles, Derrick Jones Jr., 2 really, really good underrated pickups. Obviously, Derrick Jones Jr., I think he's going to get a lot of minutes this year. He looks really good with them already. And, again, that fit with Dame, CJ, Robert Covington, Melo, Nurkic. They have a good team.
He's a fun player. I would say that, Miami still beat Boston last year in the playoffs without him really getting a ton of minutes. But he could have easily came in and done a really, really – like, he could have been a really good disruptor for our offense. But I feel like him in Portland, it works really well. And I'm excited to see what he can be there. I feel like he's going to be able to take his game to the next level there. What the next level is, I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like he can be a really good 3-and-D player. Athleticism off the charts. He could be really, really fun.
Get your knowledge up, buddy.
Oh, my God.
Trevor Ariza and Hassan Whiteside were the 2 guys they lost this year. Ariza is probably a good person to lose because he's getting traded all around the NBA anyways. He's the new ragdoll of the NBA.
What, he's been on like 3 teams since he got traded from Portland?
No, he's been on 3 teams since we started this podcast.
Oh,
Hassan Whiteside, again, he's an absolute clown. The Portland Trailblazers didn't really lose anything by losing him, especially given the fact that they have Yusuf Nurkic, who is a million times the player that Hassan Whiteside is.
Yeah.
There's Zach Collins coming back, and in my opinion, again, Kings fans, Abe, don't hate me for this. Harry Giles is much better than getting Hassan Whiteside. For them.
Yes, I agree with that. But I feel like Whiteside did a decent job filling in for Nurkic while Nurkic was out with that injury. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he was making that much money. I don't really blame them letting him go. Yeah, the Kings did make a good signing getting him for the minimum, but it's not like Portland really lost that much. You basically replaced him with Harry Giles and Nurkic. Those 2 combined are like 3 times the player Whiteside is. So I'm fine with their offseason, man. I think their offseason was really, really solid. Sure. Look at their starting 5 now. It's Dame, CJ, Covington, Melo, and Nurkic. I mean, that's – Can we
talk about their bench too?
Dude, Gary Trent Jr. off the bench. I'm a big fan of Gary Trent Jr. Wasn't that big of a fan of him coming out of the draft, but his development in Portland, Stotts does a good job getting a lot out of his guards. And I feel like that's a good fit for him.
We drafted him.
Yeah, the Kings did draft him, and they traded him away. Go Vlade! Woo!
Screw you. Again, that bench is looking good. Derrick Jones Jr., Rodney Hood's probably coming off the bench.
If Rodney Hood can come back from his Achilles tendon and still be like 70% of the scorer he was, he could be a very, very impactful player off the bench for them. Dude, their bench is really, really good.
Zach Collins, Harry Giles, that bench is absolutely stacked. I think that whole roster is stacked. I don't know how many minutes is going to go around for a lot of those players, but I'm excited to see Portland this year. And I know I've said that about a lot of teams, but Portland is one of those teams that their ceiling probably doesn't change much. They might make it to the second round, but even if they do make the second round, they're not going to make it to the Western Conference Finals, and they're sure as hell not going to make it to the championship. So with that being said, let's go to our buy or sell, and let's start off with the vet, Carmelo Anthony.
So, under the radar as Portland always is, I thought they did a great job, but we did a great job of putting the right pieces together for this team to go out there and trying to compete for a chip.
Do you have high hopes of that?
Always. I wouldn't be here if I didn't have high hopes. I would just be, planning my song. That's it. I have higher hopes of being with this group, being with this team, being a major part of this team, and just our team's success.
There's Melo talking about how grateful he is to be back in Portland and how he feels like that is the correct fit for him, and that's why he came back. Caleb, my question to you, buy or sell, Carmelo will have another successful season with the Portland Trailblazers this year.
I am buying, and I don't care if I look like an idiot at the end of it all. Melo is one of my favorite players ever. Take notes, James Harden, because you know why? Portland was one of the only teams that said, you know what, Melo, we still believe in you, and we're going to give you that chance. And you know what? When a team believes in you, you kind of reward them, right? Melo's rewarded them. He's rewarded Melo. They've rewarded Melo. I think they both succeed well with each other, and I want to see Melo get that. I want to see Melo get that deep playoff run. Probably won't win a championship in Portland. Actually, I can guarantee you he won't. But it's just nice seeing Melo back in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned with the braids, he looks younger and he looks really good, man. I love Melo. I'm happy to see him back. I'm gonna buy that he's gonna have another successful season.
I love Melo as well. I'm gonna buy it as well, and I'm glad to see him in Portland. Simple for the fact that he's looked really good there, and especially after what happened with Oklahoma City and Houston and the way he struggled there. And again, Houston, toxicity. What happened there? He played there for, 15 games. And I remember rumors coming out that, hey, Carmelo Anthony is the problem. Oh, yeah, okay. And then
the more time has went on, people have been blaming everybody but Harden for far too long. I mean, we already talked about the Rockets this episode, so we're not going to go on that for too long. But it's like Melo was always the fall guy everywhere he went, right? Oklahoma City got blamed for everything. Houston blamed.
Denver.
It's nice to see him. It's nice to see him now in a team that believes in him. But you know what's really nice though? He's coming off. He was coming off the bench in those 2 preseason games, and they said that he likes the role of playing whatever can help the team best. He's comfortable doing. I still think he ends up starting on that team, but he looks good, man, and I love that he looks good.
We've heard you talk enough about how good he looks.
I want Melo on the Celtics one day.
I really like Melo with them. I hope he has a strong year, and hopefully he has a good year and an impactful year to the point where it's not a wash goodbye, a Paul Pierce goodbye. So let's go to our second one, and let's go to Dame Lillard. Dame time.
That's just what I've been communicating to him is, come on, man, let's really make a run for it. Let's go for it. And let's not, be the organization that says, oh, we made the playoffs this many years in a row. We've got a good culture. We've got this, let's put ourselves out there and, try to do whatever we can do to give ourselves a real shot. Let's try to bring that glory back to Portland. So I've communicated that to him, and how much it means and what my desire to do that is. And, I think it's clear, and I think he's doing his best.
There's Dame Lillard speaking on the GM of the Portland Trailblazers and how he feels that he really set them up this year to win a championship. He has high hopes right there. And I don't know how you feel, but I'm going to ask you, Caleb, does Dame believe that Portland's GM will actually help him win a ring in his whole career, buy or sell?
I'm selling. I don't see how it would happen. I mean, unless he can bring in like a big name wing or something, I don't see them really getting to that level.
Do you think Dame believes that his GM is putting him in the best position to win a championship? Or do you think that he is more like, no, I'm just here because I'm loyal to Portland, and most likely I won't win a championship here unless a superstar comes here with me. But it is what it is.
I think he's content with everything. I feel like he's comfortable in Portland. I feel like he really wants to win, but I feel like that's his second home. You know what I mean? Like, he's comfortable there. If they win, great. But I don't think that he's, like, hard set on – like, he obviously wants to win, but I don't think that it'll happen. I think he understands that, like, probably not going to happen. But it's not – there's nothing wrong with being hopeful, but I'm going to sell on that.
I agree with you. I'm going to sell. Same thing as you. I think Dame's content now with the fact that he's probably not going to win a championship, and he might not win one at any point of his career. And that's one thing he's okay with. One person I feel like that's helped him out with that is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony has been around a lot of teams, and I feel like if Melo had the choice, he would tell Dame, stay with one team your whole career, right?
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, like we talked about with De'Aaron Fox a few weeks ago, if you stay with one team your whole career, they're going to absolutely cherish you. Not in LA.
I would say that works better for like the medium to small market teams. Because like if a guy is loyal to you, win a championship or not, that's your guy. You know what I mean? Like that city's gonna ride for you because it's like you were loyal to them whenever you could have went somewhere else. So like even at the end of the day, if he doesn't win a championship, he's still gonna be statue outside of the stadium. Like he's still gonna be that guy. You know what I mean?
I'm excited for this last one.
I'm not excited for this last one. I saw it and rolled my eyes. I'm giving you a short ass answer. Like I'm not talking about this for too long.
He was with us the year that we went to the Western Conference Finals. I got a lot of faith in him as our backup five, and you know what he can do, getting us extra possessions. You know, he cleaned that glass up, and he has a lot of ability. You know, especially when he's in there against second groups and things like that. You know, I think he provides a nice punch for us off the bench at the five.
There's Dame Lillard talking about Caleb's favorite player and his cancer and the spark off the
Never
bench.
calling that again.
And the spark off the bench that Enes Kanter will bring. He has a lot of faith in Kanter coming back to Portland and being that guy that he can go to off the bench. So my question to you, buy or sell, Caleb? Your favorite player, Enes Kanter, will be the bench spark that Portland needs.
So, listen, it's kind of pissing me off. Like, it was funny at first with the whole, like, oh, my God, like, the Celtics signed Enes Kanter. Like, oh, like, everyone's like, he's going to be massive for us. Dude, when that news broke, I cried. I got actually so mad that tears started forming, and I was like, God, why? Why? Of all the players we could sign. So then we finally, like, this offseason, he opts into his deal. I get super mad. I almost punch a hole in the wall. I calm down. I'm like, okay, hopefully we trade him. So then we get rid of him. We trade him to Portland. I'm like, thank God, yes. And then my favorite non-Celtic in the league, Harry Giles. Free agent, right? I'm like, Celtics, please sign him. Please sign him. We have nobody blocking him really. Like, it'll be Daniel Tyson, Harry Giles. This is before we signed Thompson. I was like, please, we could really use him. And then it broke. He signed with Portland. So now I didn't really get rid of Enes Kanter from my life. I still have to deal with his bitch ass being in my way every single time I want to watch Harry Giles. And every single time I want to see something good happen. So do I think he'll be a spark off the bench? Absolutely not. Did you watch the preseason games? They would throw him passes and they just smack off his hands and hit the ground, and then it would get turned over. And the way he runs, so flat-footed. You're not – dude, he's so – oh, my God. He's so bad. It's unbelievable. People are like, yeah, he gets offensive rebounds. Here's what he does with offensive rebounds. He grabs the offensive rebound, wide open, tries to lay it on the rim. He misses layups all the time right around the rim. It's excruciating to watch. He's not a good passer. Not a good defensive. He's actually the worst defensive big in the league. He's not a good defender. He can't really do anything. You operate in the low post. He just tries to shoulder into people, hooks them all the time, foul calls all the time. He's not good at basketball. Enes Kanter, yeah, he was good for Portland 2 years ago. He's ass now. He's ass nectar. I can't take it anymore. I'm done talking about it. Amir, you go ahead and finish off the podcast. That's the last thing we're talking about. I'm not talking about anything else.
You good there? All right. Clearly we pissed off Caleb. I'm gonna buy. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna sell, and the reason why I'm gonna sell, please don't get mad, Caleb. I was gonna buy on the fact that I think he'll be a spark, but I don't think he'll be a good spark. He's gonna be like the spark, right? Okay, Caleb, this is the spark. Look at me here. He is the spark that when you go to touch your plug guy that gives you illegal fireworks, when he gives you the illegal fireworks and you go on 4th of July and you light it off, it's one of those fireworks that just boom, it blows up in the air, right? It's not one of the crazy ones, but it just pops in the air. He's one of those fireworks that you light it, and you might burn your finger off because he's not that good of a spark. He's not the guy that you want off the bench. He's going to kill you on the defensive end. Yeah, he's going to bring you some explosiveness on the offensive end with some nice post-ups and a few offensive rebounds and putbacks, but that's all his game limits to. I'll leave it at that. That's enough for talking about Portland. Caleb, real quick, is Portland making the playoffs this year?
I'll say yes. I feel like the roster improved. They get Nurk back. I feel like they're going to make the playoffs. Probably six seed. I'd say I feel comfortable around there.
Yeah, I'm going to go either 6 or 7 seed, same thing. think they got better this offseason. Plus, they got Nurkic coming back. Hopefully, Zach Collins is healthy for them. Hopefully, they can stay healthy throughout this year because I know they had a lot of injury problems last year, and that made them play the Lakers in the first round. So that's super unfortunate for them. We'll see how they end up this year.